Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it's live, and a link in the info box once the video has rendered. If you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also let us know in the chat if you are intending to join, so we know in advance that you are going to jump on the show, so we don't accidentally kick you out, and say a massive hello once you actually join again, so we know you aren't here for nefarious reasons. One last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we do have a couple of people in the Hangout already, so I don't know if you want to make your own introductions, whoever is here. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
This is Arwin.
Arwin, good to have you, Arwin. Nice to see you.
How you doing, Alan?
We've also got Ali B. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Right.
You guys were deep in discussion before I started the show about Spurs' ISS problem. I don't know, have you had a chance to see that video yet, Arwin?
Yeah, I just did, and I don't know what his sources are on that, but on first glance, my impression is that is a super, super fake CGI hack job. But yeah, I'd have to know more about the sources who actually took that footage. If that was used for schemo, then I might be less inclined to think that, I guess, but that looked absolutely fake to me. It's ridiculous. It was, the entire shape of the thing was too 2D. It like a satellite, whatever, some kind of 3D object that would probably rotate in some way, and the thing was just exactly still moving across the moon holographic surface,
Arwin.
whatever. So
hello, Arwin. Okay, so I'm not actually calling. Well, I'm not calling out anything fake as of yet.
well, I am. I think it's a CGI hack job.
Okay, but the problem that I think is the two ISS is going in different directions, because the problem is that they rotate with the Earth, and I'm just trying to look for an answer or an explanation of how it could go around the Earth with the rotation and then appear to go back. So it's not that it wasn't me who made the video. There was a guy from Texas and a guy in Florida, so they're on the same kind of plane, and they can see the same moon. Both moons were going in the same direction, but the ISSs were going in different directions. So that's basically what the problem is. And as of yet, no one's been able to explain. They've spoke about field rotation, but yet to fully explain how that would apply to either video. So that's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're fake as of yet. I'm just saying, why are they going in different directions?
Right. Well, I am saying it is probably fake. It just looks completely unreal to me, and I would definitely like a Photoshop CGI expert to take a careful look at that footage, the original footage, and I'm pretty convinced that that's probably faked. So yeah, that's just my first glance opinion. It's usually correct when I get that impression, especially this strong. Yeah, no. So that's what I got to say about that. Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of had the same opinion. I said, why didn't you throw Ranty's fake ISS moon transit into the mix? And you're like, well, because we know it's fake. And I was like, so what? We don't know or not know that these are or aren't fake. It's just another moon transit that we have that we can compare with. The fact we know it's fake is kind of neither in nor there.
Yep. And also, like, this would be the actual first legitimate footage where you can actually make out the shape of a satellite. The first time ever in Earth history, in these last 30, 40 years that tens of thousands of satellites are orbiting Earth, and then this once you see the satellite transit, no, absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. No, I don't believe it for a second, really.
Could do a few shout
Well,
outs.
let me just say something.
Maybe not.
Forgetting all that, what you've just said there. What if it was real? How would you say that could possibly happen? If it was real, just surmise that it was real, and how would that happen? How could anybody prove that that happened? Or
Can't.
how could any explain that?
No, no, you can't just disregard everything I say and say it's real. If that would have been real, then there would have been hundreds of thousands of recordings of satellites transiting the moon being that clearly visible.
Arvin.
Yeah, but it's not that big. You're missing what I was saying.
No, yeah, sorry, Arvin. It's what we're trying to stress here is a particular point. Okay, whether it's fake or not can, it's going to come. It's already happened. But what we're saying here is the ISS is supposed to go one way only. It goes with the Earth's rotation. Yes. So if it's going around the Earth's rotation, around and around, and then it comes back to the same position in a different direction, we're asking how would any kind of aircraft that is only designed to go one way, how would you draw a path to show it had gone the other way? Even if it was real, let's say like you believe it to be real, how would you explain that it turned around? How would you explain the two observations?
I don't know. I'm not that too much into theoretical science fiction, really. I don't know the technicalities of that type of science fiction calculation, really. No. You have to ask the ballers about that kind of thing.
Well, not really. It could be a figure
more
of
about science fiction theory than I do.
It could be a figure of 8 over the flat Earth, and that's how you could get that. It passes by one way, takes a turn, and comes back in a figure of 8. So you get it crossing over the moon at different. That's just that's the only way I can explain it. As a figure of 8, it does a figure of 8 over the flat Earth, if it's real.
The ISS is not designed to do a figure of 8. It would simply disintegrate, snap, break. So it has to keep in a straight line, basically going around. That's what I mean. There's a lot of people, even the boarders, they didn't realize which way it rotated, the dynamics of what happens. They assumed, because I've had boarders that assumed it goes over the North Pole and down to the South Pole, and that doesn't happen. It literally stays west to east. So for it to turn to go back and be east to west, it's almost impossible. So, I mean, that, Arwin, if you want to prove something's fake, like that in itself would raise a lot of would raise alarm bells, because it can't be explained. That's what I mean.
But then you are into whether or not the footage is just faked, because I'm pretty certain there is a light in the sky that they call the ISS, and it does fly by people.
Yeah, the snowflake.
But what I've seen of people that are experts in capturing it, admittedly not occulting the moon, has been incredibly difficult to capture, has taken months and months of effort to try and capture, and when it has been captured, it's been very indistinct, blurry, and not great. And then you go to sort of NASA's website and see what they call amateur captures, and they're glorious. They're nothing like what I've seen from other amateur astronomers at all. The best example of this, if someone wants to go and look it up, is Take Back Space TV, formerly CD. Chris D is the guy who runs the channel, and he has got exceptionally good muscle memory when he's moving his camera into position to track this thing manually, the ISS. And he's caught it. He's got an excellent capture. Excellent in the in relative terms, because it's not.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have the best sources. They have the best CGI systems to actually affect that kind of stuff through their connection. So, wouldn't surprise me why they have that amazing footage, and other unconnected regular people don't, because they're in on it.
I think you and me agree on this point, Arwin, which is that they're most likely accounting for an anomaly that's there anyway. You know, they've got to give it a title and they've got to explain why it's there and what it does. But that doesn't necessarily mean it is what it is. You know, it's still, to me, just always going to be a light in the sky until I can go up and sit on there and, you know, look out one of the windows. You know, unless I'm in the cupola, as far as I'm concerned, it's just nonsense. It's just another made-for-TV movie.
Yeah. It is the science fiction movie realm brought closer to you through so-called astronomical observations and CGI and YouTube.
Yeah.
They're bringing it closer and closer to you, making it more real, more convincing for you that it is actually real and not just science fiction. That's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that DITRH brings up is that they're just doing the same old thing over and over again. One of the examples being playing with water in, you know, free fall, zero G, whatever you want to label it, but they're playing with little water bubbles, suspended water bubbles in the ISS. And as I say, people will criticise them, well, we've seen this before. Well, the reason we've seen it before is because, as Dilly Gill, DILLYGILL, has nice and concisely documented, what they were doing in the missions in the space shuttle was mapping all of this information. So while they were in genuine free fall, you know, doing parabolic manoeuvres, they filmed all of these things that we now see on the ISS mapped in CGI in real time. So we have things like necklaces that dance around that look great on, you know, a zero-G environment render. Same with water bubbles. You know, they've done all this stuff, filmed it, mapped it, and now they just overlay it on top of people that are on trapeze. And it looks exactly the same as it looks when it was in freefall because they've mapped it. You know, they're all right at the cutting edge of cinematography.
Ingenious how they did that.
Say again?
That's actually kind of ingenious to do that like that. To
It's
first
superb.
emulate a zero gravity environment, float around things, scan them, and then digitize that and overlay it. That is the smartest way you could do it, really.
Yeah, well, there was an interim period, again, documented by Dilly Gill, where you have this. I'll try and verbalise the scenario. So you've got a studio audience looking at a television set, which is quite small, and then a couple of presenters looking at the audience, so not looking directly at the TV set, which they're obviously a lot closer to. And on the TV set, you've got a live link-up with the ISS. Yep. And that live link-up will show, basically, a lower camera angle. So you can't actually see the ceiling. But it's going out, like I say, on a small CRTV monitor to a live audience that's probably about 20 feet plus away from that screen. And it's in what Dilly Gill describes as crapo vision. So it's really fuzzy, you can't really see anything. And that's what gets presented to the audience as they do their live link-up. And they're literally doing it live. You know, they are answering questions live while on the trapeze, while on their high wires. What they then do is they then take that, this is 10 years, maybe even 15 years ago, they then take that film, but it was shot from two different angles. One would incorporate the ceiling, which definitely didn't go out to the live audience, and the other didn't. Well, the one that did incorporate the ceiling would then go to post-production and would have all the glorious, you know, floating items rendered in that were just, you know, fuzzy little boxes on the live link-up or on little bits of string. So they just edit out all of the bits of string, edit out the ceiling, and then what goes to the public after the live link-up, considerably after, on a, you know, on the website or whatever news report they want to do after the fact, it looks absolutely sensational. You know, they're floating around, there's a ceiling above them, clearly it can't be wire work because there's a ceiling, but it's just the similar technology that they would have used in the sort of Jurassic Park era. But NASA were way ahead of that curve. You know, they were the pioneers. They were the ones doing this sort of CGI rendering, post-production CGI rendering, you know, long before the world of Hollywood were presenting it to the public. So, you know, absolutely without question, NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography. That's what they're on the cutting edge of, and it shows in some of the people who do the missions. They'd be interviewed and they'd talk about doing a spacewalk, and you'd think that would be so exciting, you know, going outside. And they sort of monotone, not very excited when they talk you through it. And then when they talk about doing the freefall manoeuvres, you know, when they talk about being inside the shuttle, they're all really, really excited about it because in actual fact, they were doing genuine work. You know, they were actually in free fall, experiencing what is tantamount to zero gravity. So it would have been really exciting, and you can tell it's slapped all over their faces when they're detailing it. And what they were doing, in actuality, was just gathering the data so that it could be overlaid today when we see live link-ups with, you know, modern techniques. And you can easily overlay CGI. We can do it on OBS.
Yeah, makes you wonder, doesn't it, that they might not all be a bunch of psychopaths. They might actually be just people doing a job and having obligations to lie about certain things, and they might not actually like it. They might actually like the real science part about it and just have like, yeah, we have to do this, and yeah, we don't really like that, really.
I would imagine so. I would imagine the actual work they're going to love. And yes, they're going to know that they're not doing what they say they're doing. You know, they're obviously going to have to know. But by the same token, they're still going to be wanting to do those exciting freefall manoeuvres. Why wouldn't you? It would be really exciting. And that comes across when they're interviewed about it. But certainly not when they're talking about doing, what do they call them, spacewalks?
Yeah.
AIs or something like that. I forget what they call them.
Putting a suit on and then going into a pool, you know?
Well, yes, because it's nonsense. That's, you know, they don't really go out and walk in space, but they certainly did the freefall manoeuvres. Anyway, Dillygill, check him out if you're watching this and you want to know exactly what I'm talking about and where I've got the information from. Dillygill, Dillygil. I might even stick a link in the info box below the video after the video is rendered.
Thank you.
Should I do some shout outs? These in our chat room. M. Scott Veach, first, good to see you. Flamingo Boot, thanks for being here. Lumberjack, I've got another long day of cutting down Arwen's trees ahead of me. Good to have you here.
Yeah, that's a new troll. He's found a new gag. He thinks that because I'm an elf, then I must love trees. So now he's trolling me with cutting down trees, and
I see.
It's just lame.
FE Cult Skeptic, good to see you. Spurs Chemo, good to have you here. Roger MC, thanks for being here. Dale Ohio, good to see you, my friend. The Rig, same to you, my friend. Good to have you. Mark Taylor, thanks for being here. Mocky Man, good to see you as well. Short to Ground, thanks for being here. P Mars, hello. Lottie, hello. Who else we got? Wounded Baller, thanks for being here. Lungimo, is that right? I hope I've said that correctly. Good to have you here. Nick, good to see you. Physics Warrior, good to see you as well. John Watson, thanks for being here. Any more for any more? FE Viking. Funny comments that you've been making on some of the videos. Thank you for those. Sean's Closet Lumberjack. Terrible sock name. Good to have you here anyway. Rune Thornton, thank you for being here. Any more for any more? Matt, nice to see you. Got to be a few more. Anybody going to sneak in at the end? We shall see. Paper Explanator, good to see you. James, thanks for being here. I said everybody, I've missed you. Richard, hello. Richard Bailey. Nathan's Wall of Ignorance, good to see you. I think that's pretty much it. Level Lee. Yeah, I've got you into. And Ted. Thanks for being here. Hit the super chat if you're enjoying these streams.
So Ali, you here?
Yeah, I'm listening, mate.
Okay, so you saw the discussion I had with Geo about this video, right? About this ISS problem. Did you catch it? Did you manage to watch it?
Yeah, I watched some of it, but it started doing my head in because they weren't really explaining anything.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. From the outside, I mean, what did you take? Did he give a good explanation? Do you think he could have given a different I mean, what did you make of his presentation?
Well, not very much actually. At all, really. I didn't really think about it. All I thought it was just like, scrambling for explanation, trying to fight their way out, rather than actually saying, well, that's a good question. Let me think about that, or let me contemplate it. Because if you look at that and go straight away, oh, that's rotational, give an explanation straight away, there's a problem there for me anyway. It's like they don't even look at it. He never really, I don't think he even really thought about it. He was looking at it. When you interact with these people, it's you know, if you point something out like that, they go straight into, you know, what do you call it? That kind of place where you go, where you're from their side of view, they think, you know, if they say something like, oh, that's interesting, that it's as if they're scared to say that because they might feel as if they're agreeing with you or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, anything we say, there's this cognitive dissonance. They've already got a poisoned view of us. Well, he's a flat earther, so anything they say doesn't matter. So anytime we ask a question, they think it's a got your question and go into defence kind of mode. And that's what I see. That's what every single one of them, when they reach a point of their knowledge that they don't know beyond, they just like attack or make stuff up, or, you know, and it's straight away they're coming from because I heard that Jordan Peterson, he made a very good point here. He said, when you have a conversation, it's about, you know, finding the truth. It's not adversarial or anything like that. You know, when you're having a conversation, it's just you're just speaking to each other kind of thing. You know, there's no, but these people are primed. You know, like Pete Shea done was, oh, you've got to put your conspiracy goggles straight away. So meaning that you're always going to look at something with a poisoned attitude, which is unhealthy. But that's the best analogy I can give. Is all it sounded like was just annoying. Actually, it just hurts the brain listening to these people.
Yeah, well, because like, I mean, I think he went into it thinking it was a debate with something to debunk, and it was just simply. I mean, I wasn't going in there, you know, shouting from the room, it's fake. I was simply saying, Red has an observation. Nothing has changed. The moon is going in the direction that you expect it to go in. So if you were looking at the night sky, you wasn't expecting the ISS, you would see the same observations. The moon moving towards the right. Obviously, the Earth, they say, would go.
Hey, FE Cult Skeptic, how you doing? Can you hear us? Okay, bye-bye to you. If you are intending to join the show, just let us know in the side chat before you do so, and then say a very warm hello when you join, so we know that you're not joining just to snipe the show.
I think he just farted on camera.
Yes, but so you were they were basically that's what I'm saying. That's how they approach any subject that we bring up, is what you said there. It's like you're thinking. Yeah, and you were just basically asking.
Sorry, that was it. Yes, yeah, I just lost train of thought. So yeah, I mean, he must have thought it was like a battle. We're going in there to debunk something, and I was simply asking. Well, everybody can see that the objects are going in different directions. So all we're asking is you just show us the orbit of that ISS, you know, in compared to with the observers. And he said he couldn't show the ISS. He couldn't show the ISS tracking through the moon. It was either missing the moon above or missing the moon below. He couldn't line it up, basically. And I mean, if Red saw the ISS, they should be able to replicate that in a model computer program. It's very simple.
Well, they turned that round. They actually that bit we were talking about earlier on, when Geo Streber, he totally flipped it as if you were looking at it from the southern hemisphere. I was like,
right.
I was like, what's he doing? Because I had the volume turned down. I was just watching. I was just sort of half reading, half watching, and all I seen on the screen was suddenly the moon got flipped round as if you were looking at from the other side of the plane, or if they want to say the ball. And I thought, why are you doing that? So I didn't hear what they were saying, but I just thought it was quite funny. That,
I mean, I've even heard other boarders say that they didn't like that he turned. That's not the answer. That he turned the moon around. That's not how you would make any observation. I mean, why not turn the other guy from Texas's photo? I mean, what makes, you know, Reds any different from Texas? That they haven't made any kind of differentiate. You know, they haven't differentiated the differences between those two. So it just needs explaining. They keep saying that they've given answers. We've had so many different answers
What was
different
that
ideas of what.
one you were talking about, the rotation? What was that? Explain that. What they were saying that was meant to be, or something. The rotation.
Well, he says, he was simply saying you just turn the moon around and the ISS will be going in the same way. That was basically his answer. So just turn it around, and then there you are.
Yeah, totally opposite from reality.
Right. So I was kind of asking.
Hey, no, how you doing? Yeah, just saying hello isn't really good enough.
No. I think that was the same account from before. I think.
Yeah, he's left anyway. I think, or someone. Yeah.
Well, I've kicked him.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, Spots. Say that again.
No, I mean, look. I mean, these guys literally think everything is up for debate. Like everything that a flat earther will say, they think it's up for debate, and this just needs explaining. This just needs demonstrating. Until it gets demonstrated, we have to go with what we see. I think we see two different directions, so I think we have to go with that. Otherwise, we'd just be going against. Nobody could trust their P900s from now on. If that's the case, you record something, and objects go in the opposite direction. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it is definitely a strange one. As I say, the only way I can think it works is if it's doing a figure of 8, and you say the ISS is not built for these stresses, and it would be a lot of stresses, but it depends what kind of art they are making when they looked back, kind of thing. Because we don't know what's up there. We don't know what currents or whatever's going on up there.
It would have to loop.
That would be my only explanation. If the ISS existed, that's kind of my only explanation, and they would have known that, and they would have built it to them stress factors. That's about it for me. That's my kind of penny's worth, or tuppeny halfpenny, or whatever you want to call it. But what's your view on it? If it were real, what would you say?
Me?
Yeah, how would you kind of sum it up? You've seen, I mean, what did you think of Geo's turning the moon around? Did that satisfy? He took a P900 and he's saying the object is going in the opposite direction.
I mean, if that's the case, then presumably all the craters would all perfectly line up once you did that. So, I mean, that seems like a reasonable explanation if that's the case. Hello, we got a new guest. How are you doing?
Yo.
The Nat, what is it?
Nat Sekwonk.
Good to see you, my friend. What can we do for you?
Oh, I'm just interested in. So I take it all of you guys are flat earthers.
Correct.
Basic stuff. So satellites and so forth. You guys, they clearly have both a commercial interest for people wanting to do geolocation, but also weather tracking and so forth, but also national security interests, right? Military set up satellites to keep track of things, communicate and so forth when they're out of range from cell towers and stuff like that. So
there's no out of range of cell towers. If the cell tower is powerful enough, it'll range very, very far. You don't need satellites for that at all. Actually, satellites, if they were physically, literally real out there, they would be extremely compromisable. Because you just have to shoot a tiny rock or whatever at there, shoot it out of its orbit, and it would be completely useless. It would be space trash. So no.
Well,
satellites
China
are completely superfluous. They are totally unnecessary.
Well, no, I mean, China and Russia are both developing anti-satellite technologies, and of course, they're also developing their own systems to protect the satellites. Of course, America's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But no, you can't just have an indefinite radar tower. For example, there's been setups of communications with satellites in, say, Afghanistan and other areas that are far remote locations. When you guys, rappelling undercover and so forth at night, you got no towers because you're up in the mountains of the Himalayas or whatever, and there's no tower. So you need to communicate and so forth. And hence, multi-million-dollar contracts are given out to the military.
Nonsense. You just need one relay in the right location, and you got perfect connection.
Well, no, because I mean, we know mountains, for example, can get in the way and interfere and so forth. That can happen.
So you just need one tower in between there, and the problem is completely solved.
But if you're doing, say, a covert action and you're deep in, say, if you look at Russia, for example, right, you've got a lot of land mass there, and
all you need is one plane with a radar relay.
Arwen, can you let him? Arwen, you need to let him get his example out first before you start disagreeing with it.
So because Russia's such a big place, right? You know, you're out in the woods. There's plenty of mountains. The environment's pretty, shit. These guys need to communicate, and they would be using. Why would they use a local tower that could be is under the control of the Russians? They'd want to have their own secure network to go straight to the guys that Eurocom or.
Hey Paul,
whatever,
how you doing?
right? It wouldn't.
Hello, how you doing, Paul?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Okie dokie. Nice to have you here, Paul. Thanks for joining.
So yeah, they want to have their own secure communications, not connected to a Russian telecommunications provider.
Right. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't make satellites necessary in any way, because all of those type of difficulties, obstacles can all be very easily overcome with other technologies that have been around for over half a century. So, such as very far-reaching communication relays, even blimps, or just airplanes. We've seen the actual secret communication airplanes that are made to really spy planes.
Give him a chance. What kind of satellites are you? Can you show us? Can you link a picture of?
Yeah. So a really good website to keep track of this type of thing is.
I mean, can you show us an actual satellite?
Yeah.
Got a
I just
picture.
got the website. I just got to record the website for a second.
Yeah, just find it and pull it up and let's have a look.
The satellite industry for defense is just extreme. Give me a second.
Do you know how to screen share and stuff? Yeah.
Oh, I've got too much things I shouldn't be screen sharing on, so I'll
Well,
post the link in the side so you guys can share it.
You don't have to. You just once you click the screen share button, you just pick the single application that you want. So there's 2 tabs on screen share.
Yeah, I know. I've done Hangouts before, but no, it's just I would link it to you guys just to be really solid. Give me a second. And apparently the National Reconnaissance Office a few weeks or months ago now also launched a satellite over in space. So here's one satellite.
It's all science fiction stories.
Well, can you screen share what gets linked, Darwin?
Give him a chance, Darwin.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can
That's the link there in our side.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
So you know, there is one flat earther on the panel. Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say there is one flat earther on the panel that does absolutely believe that satellites are real and they do what they say they're supposed to do. He just doesn't recognise that it's a spherical orbit. But so it's not everybody on the panel that disbelieves in satellites.
That's all right. That's interesting how they think satellites work on a flat Earth model. Well, yeah, I mean, they do have a clear purpose. And the reason for this is, so, for example, spy planes was briefly mentioned before. The CIA, for example, learned its lesson about the importance of satellites when that U-2 spy plane was shot down over the USSR in the Cold War. And because of that, they developed the Corona satellite, right? They launched that up a few years later or something, and it's been well documented.
Sorry,
I was going to say, can you scroll down to where it's up in the air?
And Or that link I provided, you're not going to see it in its orbit, like actually up in its orbit. It did when I clicked the link. I just checked now. It does link to about the deal to get the Ministry of Defense and the UK to set it up.
This is a satellite. I mean, they could put this on a craft and fly around on a balloon, right? I mean, this doesn't fly.
Here's the thing, though. That could be. Yeah, but this thing that it could be shot down, and so the example, the CIA learned that lesson, and hence they developed that Corona satellite. And so how that
hold on. The whole idea of the satellite is that it's in orbit. Yeah. So you're saying that this.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that I'm saying that this device could work, but it's not necessarily in orbit, right?
I just suspended by a balloon and it will work fine.
It's okay. It's just it wasn't clarified. Can you find us a picture of this specific satellite in orbit?
Well, it's in its orbit. You wouldn't find because I mean it's a classified Ministry of Defense, connected satellite for intel gathering. So of course I couldn't find its orbit. Probably.
What do you mean? Of course. Hold on. You're claiming that this is in orbit. Now you're saying, of course I can't find its orbit. Well, should we just disregard everything you've just said about it then? Because if you can't prove it's in orbit, why should we take your word for it? We don't want to take this. Hold on. I just want to clarify our position. We don't really want to. Hold on, Spurs. We don't really want to take it on faith, because if we take it on faith, that's tantamount to religion, and we're not really religious. Some of us are. Me personally, I'm not. I don't like to just take it on faith that it's up in the sky doing an orbit because you say it's classified and we can't possibly see it. That to me is just nonsense.
For example, we've seen national NRO satellite launches, for example. You're not going to see them in the orbit because, the positions would be classified for obvious reasons. And so then I would also employ.
Why do you know about it? How can you know about it? How can you know about it? If it's classified, how can you know about it?
Hold on, Oakley.
You're saying it's classified, because but you know about
the launches,
it.
They announced the launches, but the orbits, of course, not the orbits, but we see them launch and so forth, right? I've seen a few NRO launches, for example, right? But the actual package and so forth, what you wouldn't know, right? Of course. However,
hold on. That's the most important bit. Hold on. That's the most important bit. You've just brushed over it like it's unimportant. You wouldn't know.
I'm not finished.
Yeah, but you're saying you wouldn't know, and like brushing over it like it's unimportant. You wouldn't know whether it's in orbit. You wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know.
So this is why though, because I'm also applying.
No. He believes.
I'm also applying.
You believe it's in orbit. You believe. That's it. It's a belief.
Say wonk, for example. So you stuck on the argument, right?
Wonk. Can you give an example of a non-military satellite? So we don't have all this debacle. Can you pull up another one? Okay, we've seen one that we can't, we can't see it, but there's thousands, right? Let's find one that, then we can discuss it a bit further. Otherwise, we're just going to argue the next couple of hours about this one that we can't actually see. Yeah.
And then again, other launches.
I mean, you did speak about communication. Yeah.
So here we've got products made by a company called Airbus Defence and Space, and you can actually commercially purchase not access to the satellites themselves, but you can request packages from them and so forth. The link there. For example, when I had subscription to IHS James Defence and Intelligence Centre, I could request packages from those guys and interact with the Airbus satellites that they use. There's two of them. I forgot what they were called. And basically you had daily, recent, good quality images of around the world, basically, right? That's what they were for.
Okay.
And so...
Hold on. Let's talk us through it as we're watching, because we can see it now, yeah? So this is what you...
Oh, that's about the satellites, yeah.
Yeah, this is what you believe to be... have I got the flash player? I don't think I've got the flash player. I'm playing it, that's true. Should allow it.
Well, you got to play the video there.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. Right.
I didn't set it up. Right. Well, there we go, buffer it. Okay, so this is what you're saying are satellites. This is the real satellite that we're looking at, yeah, in orbit. Talk us through it. Talk us through what we're seeing here.
Sorry.
Don't laugh at him. Just I'll keep my mute up button on.
So basically what you're saying, what you're seeing there is the constellation, right? Yeah. So basically what you're seeing there is the constellation that they have in orbit.
Wow.
And because of that, I can see when I request packages from either
Hiya,
Airbus
Flatner.
directly
Sorry to interrupt you.
I just
Hiya,
saw
Flatner.
two satellites
How you doing?
collide.
How you doing, Flatner?
or through ISS James and one of their intelligence packages, right? You can interact with that and see all over the world different areas and so forth. And then from there, you can calculate the length of runways, you know, what aircraft could take off from that, so on and so forth, right? So these have an open source intelligence aspect to them, but also obviously a military aspect to them, the classified ones. And you can see satellite launches, the NRO launches. A few weeks ago, you could see those
We've heard all this.
take off.
No offence, we've heard all this once, but so far, not so good. Which we're trying to get you to show us one in orbit. That was laughable. No offence, but that was pretty much, you know, I was in hysterics.
What was laughable? What was laughable?
This isn't.
What I was going to say.
Okay, you talk us. As Spurs has asked you once, so you talk us
computed-
through what's on screen and tell us what's on screen right now. You talk us through it.
Those satellites are larger
I did-
than my freaking country.
Well, what I was going to
so
say.
hold
What I
on,
was going to
hold
ask.
on.
What I was
Do you
gonna-
think that was the
Hey,
evidence?
AC, how
of
you
them in
doing?
orbit?
Can you hear us, AC?
What I was going to say was, if you pick,
Hey,
pick
AC,
one of
can
those
you hear
satellites,
us? Can you hear us?
choose.
It's a troll.
No, that's a visual representation.
Right, so it's not a photograph
So if you
or
ask
verification or proof. It's just a cartoon.
You can clearly see it's bloody CGI. It's a representation, right?
Right, a
The
representation of
argument
something
is
you
that
can't
these
prove.
satellites are put in orbit.
So it's useless.
These
So it's
satellites are
absolutely
put in
useless.
orbit.
It doesn't prove
Nathan is
anything.
trying to make a
It's
point.
useless. Totally useless then proving anything. It doesn't prove anything. It's just a cartoon.
So it's just
We don't
so a
need
multi-billion-dollar
representation.
industry.
We want you to bring
So,
out proof.
So hold on, a
Actual
multi-billion-dollar
visual proof of satellite.
yeah, cool.
Hey,
So a
Jim
multi-billion-dollar
Benson,
industry
how you doing,
is
Jim?
just a nothing burger.
You need to let us know in
Yeah.
the side chat before you join. You know, I'm just going to kick you if you don't just at least say, I'm going to join the show from the side chat, which I'm watching. You know, I'm just going to kick you because you're not saying anything. It's clearly the same guy over and over again. Anyway, I think the point we're getting at is this isn't imagery of a satellite in space, which is what we need to verify it's there. This isn't verification of
Show us
anything.
some proof.
Okay,
Hey,
the
Flatner,
easy
how
way
you doing?
to verify
Can you
satellites
hold on?
are,
Can you hear us, Earth Flatner?
so the
Hello?
website-
Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello. Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Hey,
Good to have you.
real
Finally, a real person.
Hey.
So
yeah,
there's,
I've been trying. Yeah. So what about satellites in space just being on balloons? Why do they have to be orbiting? You know, missing the Earth and all this.
yeah, correct.
Because it can
It
get
is
shot
one of
down.
the options.
Yeah. So
They
I.
can be on a Zeppelin even.
The reason
Yeah,
why
well,
they
yeah.
put up in the first place was to avoid that issue.
Balloons can go 125,000 feet and above. So if people start saying, "How would you know where they are with the wind and all that?" They go way above. So they hold up to 8,000 pounds. There are videos on YouTube displaying this. You know. So I don't even. I used to say there's no big satellite. It's
they're-
not what you think.
they're
And the
much more easy
technology
to
of weather balloons has been going on since. So why would you think this has not evolved into this?
They haven't because, for example, you get inherent advantages over
Don't know. You don't know.
satellites.
No, that is
so for
actual
example-
nonsense. No,
What I'm-
I want to
they're
have
harder
the
to
opportunity to
detect.
counter you here.
Can we
Yeah.
hear him
Satellites
though?
have been out there for decades, and these satellites have been orbiting. They have just been so-called scanning the Earth. Still, for some reasons, and really bad, unexplained reasons, they weren't able to scan specific areas, and now they have got these satellites that can do this, which is just totally ridiculous. What they really did is they had towers. They had towers that could scan a certain distance. They improved upon that, and then eventually they filled in the gaps by other means. By, for example, balloons or zeppelins or however
So
they
if
did.
I
It's
was to
probably
stick
balloons.
around-
We have
so-
seen the
so if I
NASA
was
footage
to stick
of
around-
them
Yeah.
launching balloons, carrying
If I was to
satellites
stick you
at the
out in the
South
middle of
Pole, doing
if I was
that.
to stick
It's
you out,
official footage. It's proof.
Yeah, cool beans. Yeah, there's no. Of course, there's weather balloons.
They've
No
been
kidding
doing
each other.
this pretty
But-
recently, and that
But
can
if
fill
I
up the
was to
gaps.
stick you out, if I was to stick you out in the Himalayas, for example, somewhere really remote, you're not going to see a bloody weather balloon. You're going to be using satellite communication.
No, but these weather balloons
So that's
are
how
not
satellite phones work.
So why do
1,000
planes go
miles up.
missing? Why do planes go missing? If we have
1,000 meters
GPS
up,
that
they
covers
are
everywhere.
very, very high up.
So if a
maximum
balloon
height
can
they
get
can get.
up to these heights that you propose, why can't a satellite get that little bit further up?
No, they don't.
But why? Why can't they?
Well, we've seen no proof that they do, and so far you've just given us visual
But hold on,
representation.
if
No,
you
and
say
I can
balloon
take
gets
it a
that
step
extreme
further. You
height,
have no proof that
if you
air
hold on,
density
hold on.
even decreases
think-
as much
so
as
if
is
you think-
suggested.
If you think
don't even know
that,
that.
if these balloons can get up to that altitude, then why can't they go up a little bit further
Because
into
we
orbit?
can go higher
Why's
than
that?
the air balloon. We can't get higher than the air balloons. That's the point.
Why?
Yeah,
How do you know?
that's it.
How do you know
Lowest orbit is 99,000
One,
feet,
one at a
right?
time,
Nothing
please.
How do you know that?
nothing-
Isn't lowest orbit, isn't it 99,000 feet? Isn't that the general?
Wonk is
But
because
how do you know that you can't go above that limit?
it's been tested.
But
How do you know they do?
What
What proof have you got that they
how
do?
do you know that you can't go above that limit?
Well, yeah, but it's not
Are you
down to
trusting
us to
NASA?
disprove that.
Aviation.
You're claiming. Hold on, let me just hold on, Spurs. Hold on, Arwin. Hold on. You're making a claim that satellites exist and do that, but you've provided absolutely no proof of that. And now you're saying, well, you disprove that they do
Your
that.
criticism is that I'm pointing out to you guys, right, that if weather balloons, which of course they do exist, but to say that the satellite images from those is ridiculous. But apart from that, you're trying to tell me, okay, they get up to this high altitude,
Images
cool
don't come
bean,
from balloons.
but why can't they go up that little bit higher and then enter orbit?
They might be able
What's
to, but
magically-
you're
Can I
claiming
please
they
respond
do.
to that for a moment, and that
You're,
is images
hold on, Arwin.
are not
Hold on, just one
from
second.
balloons.
Arwin,
They're
hold
taken
on.
from planes.
Arwin,
It's
can I just
for
get a word in?
relays.
Arwin, thank you. So you're claiming they do go that high, but you're providing absolutely no verification of that.
But,
None.
but you guys were claiming weather balloons go that high. I'm saying, why can't they go a little bit further than that?
Well, they might be able
And
to.
what's
Can you
stopping
prove
a
that they do?
satellite from doing
They
that?
might
I'm
be
saying
able
nothing
to,
can go higher
but
than
we're not
that.
claiming that. You're
What
claiming
are you
it.
basing that on?
You're
basing
claiming
that
it.
they can't go
You're
higher?
claiming satellites go higher. If you want to claim that balloons might be able to go higher, that's nonsense. We're
How
not
about
claiming
how
that.
about
We're
one at a
claiming
time?
balloons do these
He
jobs.
was. He's claiming that. In fact, what's his name? The guy who just joined Earth is literally saying that these weather balloons can't go any higher. So who are you trusting for this information?
I'm saying
Who
that.
said-
I'm also
who's
saying
saying
that. I'm also saying that when the rockets go up, you see them tail off. So that also shows that's the maximum height.
Oh,
Have you
Spurs
seen-
schemo. We know. When me and you interacted over a year ago, we know what it's me, MMA artist. We know that the reason is because they don't want to go over populated areas. Why do you think Russia, when they launch their satellites, right, they do it in heavily remote areas, right? And they can still crash down into some neighboring areas. It's because every now and then there's still little populated areas, and same with China, right? So they lobby them over the ocean. That's the tailing. Then, of course, also to get them into certain orbits, right? That's why they do it. But it's mostly for safety reasons. Unless you're in Russia or China, for example, you've got no choice. But,
But your
That's
conclusion
just
is still
the
based on
so-called
faith. Your conclusion
But
is that they go
haven't
into
had an
orbit.
answer to why weather balloons can't go above this little boundary, and then why something else can't do that as well.
Well, I keep
Balloons
saying it.
might.
You're claiming they can, but you provide no proof of that. None. So
Stopping
if you
it.
want to
What's stopping
assert that satellites are out in
What's
orbit at these
stopping?
high
If I can
altitudes,
put-
What's
All you've
stopping,
done
what's
is-
stopping?
Yeah,
shall I
would
share
stop
with
it?
you what is stopping satellites?
Hold on, what
Gravity.
would stop it?
Gravity is stopping satellites because there is no escape. There is no escape from it. What comes
No,
up
hold on,
must go
because
down.
gravity-
It doesn't end.
But here's the thing, though: satellites and so forth are falling. Have you ever heard the argument of why they keep in orbit? They're falling, but it's because of the altitude that they're at that they
can you
spin
show us?
around.
Can you show
Look,
us that?
who is making those statements? It's the same people that are launching these
Well,
things.
no, he's made an
But
There is
assertion.
no
how do you know
proof.
that
You have
Hold
no
on,
proof.
hold
that they
exactly,
are
Arwin. He's
actually
got no
you know
proof,
that
so
that's
let's see him prove it.
though.
Let's just ask it as a question.
Is it a glass dome of magic?
No,
What is
it has
this?
nothing to do
What's
with it.
stopping?
Hold on,
What's
he's made an
stopping?
assertion that
with
these
that?
satellites are
What-
falling.
if I can put something with enough force into the atmosphere and get it going up and up and up and up and up and up, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets into orbit. What's stopping? that
No,
from
there
going
is
into
no
orbit?
orbit. The gravity
Why?
doesn't stop. It doesn't
Of course, gravity doesn't stop, but that's why it's falling. It is falling, but because it's altitude, it swings around.
Yeah, but
So
it
show
can
us.
fall with some rotation.
So
It
show
falls
us.
down. That's the direction it falls at.
Yeah, but
It doesn't
it's
stop. You
rotating.
can't sling it around the Earth. That doesn't work.
That's exactly what it is.
It goes
That's
up,
what it's doing.
must go down, and will go down.
It is going down technically.
Yeah, but it's going down very fast. It's going down falling speed.
Yeah, hence it's
Go
orbit.
when they fall down.
It's having a semantical argument about things that are possible, and it's pointless. Just show us it happening. Show us some evidence. Prove it.
What's stopping them? Again, what's stopping them?
No, I don't need an
Because if I
objection
show
to
you-
what's
if I
stopping
show you
them.
video
I want you to
footage,
provide
you're
evidence
gonna-
that they do
okay,
as
okay,
you
so
assert.
if I show
Simple.
you- Yeah,
Dead
so-
simple.
So if I show you, for example, SpaceX doing its launches, right, or even from NASA, and you see the cameras on the side of the rockets that as the components fall, you can see one side of the screen. You see the cameras on the ground tracking going up, and then at the same time the cameras are still active, right? And as chunks of it fall off, you see it match perfectly as they fall from the camera to the ground, and then from the camera that's inside the thing, right? And you see that. If I was to show you that type of footage, right? SpaceX has got those, and think every single thing it launches as well, apart from the NRO ones and so forth, and even from NASA, right? If I was to show you footage of that, which you guys have all seen, footage of space launches, right? You guys flat earthers, of course you
couldn't
have.
give a crap.
So if
I
I show
keep
you
telling
video
you that
footage of
isn't
launches-
footage of it
If I show
orbiting.
you-
Why are you
hold
telling me
on,
it's about
if I show
launches?
you-
Why are you
if I
telling
show
us
you
this? What does
footage
this
of
have to do with
launches,
showing us it
you're
in
going to
orbit?
claim it's CGI.
Yeah, I'm just asking you the same question over and over again. You keep giving me the same answer, which is you can see something going up. We want to see it in orbit. Show us that.
So if I was to find a SpaceX
No.
video, or even a NASA
Can you just
video
show us?
where
Can
I'm
you show
asking
us
a
or not?
question,
Is that a no? You can't show us.
And you see,
Is that a no?
see the camera on the ground track it up.
We've
and
heard
you
all
see
this.
At the same time, the camera
You've said all this.
is
I've heard you. I'm
inside
not deaf.
and-
I've heard all this.
Oh,
You're repeating
and-
yourself. I've heard it. Right, I've
Why
heard
I
it all.
say if I was to give you such a video, you would reject it, wouldn't you?
No,
Ultimately, because
it's
you
not
reject these
a
videos every
video.
You would analyze it.
No,
and
I
prove
wouldn't
that it's
reject
CGI
it.
because
Hold on,
isn't
hold on,
CGI.
Alwyn, please. No, I wouldn't reject it. But I would ask you to show me the further video evidence of it in orbit. Have you got that?
So yeah, okay. So if I was to show the video where you see the ground start to, come out of the view, and the Earth becomes round, and it gets dark and so forth because the camera is on the little side of the rocket and so forth, either on the inside or the outside or whatever.
Third
it is,
time you've
right?
said this.
And you
Third time.
somehow
I'm not
question
deaf.
that?
How many times do I need to tell you I'm not deaf and I've heard you say this?
Yeah. So if I was to show that evidence, you'd accept it.
I've just said I would accept what you show me, but I wouldn't accept it as evidence of an orbit because it isn't evidence of an orbit, is it?
Such an attack. Well, let's find that footage for you.
Okay, great. Is it evidence of it orbiting?
Well, yeah, because you'd see it getting in orbit, wouldn't you?
No.
You'd see it
Do
get
we
up into
see it?
space.
Do we see it orbiting? Not getting into orbit, orbiting.
So hold on. So if it can
It's
get
a simple
into,
question, not hold on.
space,
It's a yes
if
or
it can
no
get into
answer. I
space,
asked you a
if it can get into
closed
space.
question. Closed.
So if
Has
it
a
can get
yes
into
or no
space,
answer. Does it show it
get into
orbiting?
space.
Yes or no?
If it can get into space, what would stop it then from getting into orbit?
I couldn't care less. Is it footage of it orbiting? Yes or
Footage
no?
of it living Earth, yes.
Are you dumb? Are you deaf?
I just responded.
You said it's footage of it leaving Earth. So that would be
Yeah,
a
it'd be getting
no.
into
It is
Earth.
not footage of it orbiting.
But it's footage of it getting into space. Would that not be the case?
Couldn't. How many times do I have to say? That's the fourth time you've said it. Are you dumb or deaf?
Yeah.
Which one are you?
So
Dumb or deaf? Are you stupid or deaf?
You'd accept that. You'd
No.
accept that.
How many times do I have to say it? Are you deaf? Are you literally
your
deaf?
ad-homs
Do
are
you hear the
noted.
words coming out of
Your
my mouth?
ad-homs
Are you deaf?
noted.
Are you
yes,
deaf?
Your ad-homs are noted and swiftly rejected, yes. So,
I haven't said I would
if you can
reject
see
it
that happening-
once. You clearly are deaf.
No, I said...
Are you
your
deaf?
ad-homonyms- I
You
said
seem
your
to be stuttering
ad-homonyms are
because I've got you
noted and
cornered
swiftly
because you
rejected.
don't have evidence of
no.
orbits.
No. I said your ad-homs are noted and swiftly rejected. That's what I said.
It's not an
See,
ad
if
hom,
I
it's a
can show the
question.
footage-
Either you are stupid or you didn't hear me. Because if I say
Yeah,
something
that's
4
that's
times
an ad
and
hom.
you can't
So,
comprehend the words, you are
again,
stupid. That's a
if I
fact.
show
Not an
the
ad hom.
footage- that's
Hello,
the
Miguel.
very
How you
definition
doing?
of an ad hom.
Hold on. How you doing,
So-
Miguel? Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Miguel? Okay, sorry about that. I'm not ad hom attacking you. If I say something 4 times...
Again,
How you
if the
doing,
footage,
Lottie?
you can clearly see, right?
Can you hear us, Lottie?
I can hear you.
How you doing, Johnson? Can you hear us? So, the conclusion of that is we have no evidence of orbits. Thank you.
So, if I was to show the footage of them going into space, which is, of course, contrary to your claim,
No, it's not.
is it? Because you deny things getting into space?
No, I didn't.
So you think things can get into space?
I don't know where they can go. I'm asking if things can orbit, which is your claim regarding satellites, and you have provided a cartoon and saying I can show things going up. That's all you can do.
Against that CGI pieces to illustrate.
I'm not interested in your faith that they are orbiting. Your faith doesn't interest me. Your belief in it orbiting, I couldn't care less. Your extrapolation that it's orbiting, I don't care about. I'm not interested in your extrapolation, your faith, or your belief. I don't care.
This multi-billion-dollar industry where you see rockets go off into space.
Yeah. Don't care. Not interested. You don't have any evidence. No proof.
Answer that.
None.
So they just build these
Nathan, come on now. I did just show. You need to show some respect for your guests. Remember that.
I don't have to do anything, Lottie. I can do what as damn well please. I think we established this.
It's courteous.
It's what a moderator is supposed to do, Nathan. He's supposed to stay.
I mean, it can go kind of 2 ways, can't it? One. Let's say you're saying that your question was, well, they're sending up these.
Lottie, people are trying to talk. If you're just here to criticise me, go away.
So let me just explain what I'm coming for, Nathan. You're supposed to be a good moderator, Nathan.
Let's stick on point now, right? So
I'm not interested in your critique of my moderating, Lottie. Not interested.
They're sending up these rockets.
Well, I've just come here to stop you bullying your guests, is all.
In your mind, you're saying that these billion-dollar companies wouldn't send something up. So therefore, you're saying that they must be orbiting. That's your conclusion. Even without seeing them, you're just going to say, well, they must be because
they got a necessity for these things. They've got an industry for these things. You can see the product then be put into a rocket launch, right? Oh, Jesus Christ, the trolls in here. You want to talk about trolling?
We're going to eject him.
Trust
He's
me.
not welcome.
Yeah, he'll try hardcore.
But Mr. Graham, he's not welcome, but everyone's welcome.
Trust me, I share your I have sympathy for you guys. So yeah,
I'm just trying to find your conclusion there. You're saying that they've got this billion-dollar company. You're saying that they've got. I want to clear my point.
Hold on. So they've got a necessity for them, a want for them, a need for them. They've got an industry behind them. You see that product then put into these rockets and so forth. They get sent up into space. And there's nothing to challenge them going up into space, right? And then what happens? They just detonate, or they just go into the ocean.
Hello.
No. But the question, but that's not the question. I think you're missing the question. So, are you just satisfied that you don't? All what you've said. Okay, we agree. There's a need. There's a want. They pay for them. They build them.
Hey, Jim.
Even without seeing them orbit, you would say, well, I don't know.
Excuse me.
I'll try and so here's a footage from SpaceX with the onboard camera. And at the start, you can see it from the takeoff, so it's on the ground, the footage, and then you go to about, let's see if I can go to 2 minutes in. So the ground footage is tracking it.
It's like saying a rocket goes into space, but you don't.
Here's the because at the same time.
Yeah, but why are you showing us
at the same time?
Why are you just showing us? Why show the rocket?
At the same.
Why not just tell us?
Because at the same time,
why not just tell us? Yeah, but
what was one up before? But then they were demanding a video, so I now got the video.
Yeah, why not just tell us?
Okay, I'll tell you now. I'll tell you now. Visually, I'll tell you now.
So we have approximately 1 hour left on this live stream. If you are new to the channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it's live, and a link in the info box once the video has rendered. If you would like to join the panel, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video. Please don't swear, say a quick hello when you do join the show, and also if you could let me know in the side chat that you are going to join, that would be greatly appreciated. One last time, there's about an hour left, on this broadcast. If you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
What reason?
Because I want to see the rocket parts fall across. I don't know, but it's irrelevant. Why? The fact is, you see the camera.
For what reason? What reason would you need to put the cameras on the rocket? Why? You don't need
rabbits. See pink rabbits. It doesn't matter why you see it.
No, it does matter.
Hi.
Why does it matter?
Well, because
you
it would
just said
be
I can
proof.
show you a video. You said I can show you a video.
Yeah, and there it is.
No,
because
no,
you see
why?
the camera only kicks in afterwards. If they wanted real proof, they would show you the camera as it is being launched non-stop.
It's blackness,
but
it
only kicks in later. You just said it yourself. Then the camera kicks in. No, it's not.
The camera kicks in because when the thing falls off, right, then it becomes lit. As in, it's
why doesn't it roll just from the start? Why doesn't it just roll from the start?
No. I'm asking why you bother putting the camera on the rocket inside.
So as it's recording,
can we hear his answer? There's 4 of you on him at the moment. Sorry, Spurs. Sorry, Arwin. We need to hear his answer. So give him a break. Let him speak. Hello, Dawn Treader. How you doing? Hold on 1 second. How you doing, Dawn Treader? Can you hear us?
All right. Yeah.
Good to have you.
You on the ISS problem?
Yes.
Kind of, yes. We're just saying, why do they even bother putting cameras on the rockets as it goes on?
You've got the camera there, though.
What
you do have that
camera.
Yeah,
but why?
So whatever the reason may be, right?
It's a waste of footage. It's a waste of footage, isn't it? There's no reason. There's no reason to put the camera on the rocket at all.
Okay. So for example, this is a court case, and I'm filming, doing selfies like a Muppet, seeing sights around DC, for example. Cool beans. So I'm doing that. And then all of a sudden, in the background, I see a murder, right? And it's caught on the camera. I present that to the cops. Are they then going to say, well, hold on, this is part of you doing a selfie and they reject it? No, the fact is it recorded what happened, and that's evidence, right?
Hey,
this is evidence.
Figure out the.
This is evidence. This is evidence because he's a troll. Let's give me, he's a troll. Everyone is a troll.
He's no more trolling than anybody else, so I don't. What's the problem?
He's a troll. So, trust me, he's going to try and bring up GMOs. He will. But anyway.
No, but you see my point now. I'm asking why even bother putting them on the
address
camera
my
if they
point.
don't put them on the satellite, yes?
Just my point. So I'm taking selfie and it catches a murder. Are the cops going to reject it because its purpose was selfies?
You say Mr. Grimm is a troll. Come on.
Wait, are you going to address the point? It's on camera. It doesn't matter why the camera is rolling.
Why do they even bother recording? Why even bother recording the rocket, the takeoff with the? Why do they put cameras on there for what? What's the reason?
Let's see if a quick Google search or is it? I don't know why they would, but it's cool to do.
To me, that is cool very strange.
I was on my webcam mic, so I changed to this mic now.
For me,
it's very. There's an actual reason for it. Let's see.
I've got to go. I'd rather hear from Dawn. I've heard enough about this rocket taking off that doesn't prove orbit. So Dawn says he has an answer to the ISS problem. Dawn, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So the ISS goes in orbit on a diagonal line to the rotation of Earth. Yeah.
Okay.
This makes for many different directions of transit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the answer. No problem.
In one direction, only the Earth's rotation.
No, so a diagonal. So the Earth's rotating one way.
Mm-hmm.
The ISS is orbiting on a diagonal line.
But the same way.
Yeah, but that's enough angle to make different transits.
Not an opposite angle.
Yes. We get it from the UK as well.
No. It's only one angle, and the moon.
Many angles.
Hello.
Sorry, yeah,
Hello,
many
how you
angles,
doing?
many directions. Yeah.
Negro, Lambda.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
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 What can we do for you?
Yes, we can hear you.
What can we do for you?
Oh,
What can we do for you?
Am I on the air?
Yes, we hear you. What can we do for you, my friend?
Oh, nothing. I was, first of all, good morning, gentlemen. I'm from Mexico City.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
And I've been watching your shows for quite a bit. And I want you, oh my God, I'm sorry, my audio is getting back to me, but I just want to make sure that you can hear me.
We hear you fine. You're not echoing on our side, so the echo is only on your side.
Maybe mute your watch page. The page you were watching before you joined.
But just want to let you know, guys, that one of my cousins, relatives, he was the first astronaut from Mexico. And I talked to Sean, and I think I'm going to fix an interview with some pictures that I have, that he has shown me. This was a long time ago. He put the first satellite of telecommunications from Mexico. It's called Morelos 2. And I have some pretty amazing pictures that I hopefully you can see. His own camera from the moon to Earth. So hopefully you appreciate those pictures. You might want to say that they are fakes.
No.
Obviously, he worked for NASA.
I'd love to see them.
He's not a Mason.
He's very cool,
you have some questions for me.
Love to see them. We'd love to.
An astronaut or something.
Yeah, no need to be racist.
That's a bit.
Yeah, yes, I would love to see those pictures. If you can come on at a later date and show us.
It's not a prank call. It's not anything. I'm trying to talk to with all my respect. I have respect for you guys. But for us, at least for the people that I know close to my close to me, my relatives, my family, my friends. Well, if I actually talk about this subject, it's kind of they don't even believe. There's people that believe in that. I don't know if the culture of us is not ready to handle this evidence as Anthony's provided. But I've seen the other shows, and I've seen that every point that you have been demonstrated in the show, as far as Sly or Gio or other guys, I think to me, they have been shown to be disproven. I don't know how true or facts, but to my humble opinion, they meet the burden of proof. I don't know. What's your opinion about that?
Well, everybody has a right to their own opinion. If you're not convinced, somebody in the family would definitely make it a lot more convincing. So, yeah, I get you.
I think I saw what was happening with the echo. Now I can hear so much better because I was watching the show in another.
Sorry, yeah, you can check it. Sorry.
Right.
What are you actually talking about?
No, he's just saying that his family or he knows someone who's an astronaut, right?
Right, my cousin. His name is I don't know if I can type it on the chat because I don't see it now, but his name is Rodolfo Neri Vela. He's the first astronaut, and he's my cousin.
Okay, so can I just explain something to Dawn? Dawn, can you see my screen here?
So
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
See my screen? Right. So what we're saying is the only possible transit of the ISS here is west to east in all of these directions. So you're saying yes, it can go down this way, even if it were to stay on this path, all the way around, it would go round and round and round and round, okay, and follow the path.
What?
Sorry?
Where did you get those lines from?
Where did I get those lines from?
Yeah.
I drew those lines.
Based on what?
Direction.
Yeah, but from what? Like, what did you use to get the direction? Was it?
This is the west, and this way is the east. So if you were to, if you were standing here and you were like, which way is east? You would say go that way.
Oh, so it's not the direct path. Okay, that was just.
It's just arrows that you put on there randomly.
Yeah, so east is that way. Yeah, so when the ISS travels, it travels around any. So I was just to illustrate that it can go any direction, any angle, but this way with the spin of the Earth. Now, what red?
It does other directions as well, though. Not just the three.
Well, that's what we want to find out. Well, if it does, we want to see how it can go this way, then this way, and then turn back to go this way. Because what Red saw in Florida here, he saw it go back this way.
Yeah.
So when it went round,
due to the diagonal orbit, it's a different angle to the rotation of Earth.
Yeah, so it's not. It's irrelevant. Like I say, if it goes around and around and around, following this line, diagonal, to get back that way, to turn the diagonal back around. So this line is facing the other way. That's what we're trying to find out. How did it turn around to go back this way? Because like I say,
maybe it was a different sunlight on a different orbital rim.
From Red's position here, he saw the ISS go this way across. Yeah. Anybody else, like the guy here, he saw the ISS go across this way. So if you're saying, even if you're saying it's a diagonal, he would have saw it go that way.
Can you verify this though?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. We can
like some guys said it went this way, then Red.
Also, the orbit's not the same speed as the rotation. Yeah. You get 16 orbits every 24 hours.
Yeah.
Every one rotation of Earth, you get 16 orbits of the ISS. And it's at a diagonal line.
Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter about how much time, how many times
transit.
Yeah. Okay, so look, let's try to explain this here. So it wouldn't matter how many times.
Hold on a second, Spurs. Hold on. Hold on, Spurs. Hold on, Spurs. Hold on. Have you got this on your screen now, Dawn?
That's on Spurs. Oh, wait.
Brilliant. Thank you.
There is an animation about it that's quite.
Well, we've got reality here, and if this were the Earth, this moon.
Well, you said it was CGI earlier, or Arwen did.
No, I didn't claim that. I'm just saying. Well, look here. Just pay attention a minute. Yes. So, if we look at the ISS, so it's going that direction. It would go around, come back around, come back around, come back around, and it would follow that path all the way around, back again, and around and around. If this were the Earth, so now how does it go up, down, back around, and then back this way?
Can you play it one more time, please, Spurs? Can you just play it again so we see the different directions? Okay, because they are orientated slightly differently, but it's not much off. The moon, I mean.
And there's a month difference between them. Or a difference between them.
Yeah, a whole month. So
well, we can say we can do better than that. We can say that the moon has moved this much between them. Okay, so they're clearly going in opposite directions. That's for sure. One of them is going
480 orbits. It's done. Between those two.
One of them is going against.
One of them.
That thing doesn't even look like the ISS. Not even close.
So both moons are moving to the right. Both moons are moving to the right, which is normal.
Drag it back a little bit and see, point out distinct features on the actual moon itself and see if you can figure out the path, because that's something obviously you're trying to figure out, right?
I mean, that's the most of the moon that they get.
Oh, I think that was explained yesterday.
This animation was supposed to be.
You've been joined by Chris. Hold on a second, guys. Say hello to Chris.
So look, hold on, forget the CGI because
hold on,
it's my
Spurs.
video.
Need to say hello.
People, this is my point. This is my point. Hold on,
hold on.
Hold on,
to say.
I'm not shouting.
How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, I'm Spurs. They're going.
Spurs, you've got verbal diarrhea, my friend. I just need to say hello to one guest. How you doing, Chris?
Thank you, guys, mate. I just want to tell you guys, I'm really sorry for calling Riley and Red Deep the whole world. But
yeah, you're drunk.
Good to have you here.
I've had a few, but on you go. I'm sorry.
Too much.
Right, I mean, if we look at the moon here, this is what I thought was key, is that it's only moved
It's just that I love you guys. I mean, I'm just right. I'm sorry.
I love you too, Chris. You're the man.
Thank you, Giffen. I mean, you just seem like a really cool guy, but you can just
What I can do is I can pull up Pierre's video.
you can just get a bit too, entrenched in your
Yeah, that's enough of that. Anyway, you carry on with your point, Spurs.
Well, yeah. What I'm gonna.
Okay, so you propose U-turn after the moon, Spurs.
I just want you to show me a path in your mind after time, whatever time, a month, a year, 10 years, 100 years, of how it got from this position
match it up, like
to this position. That's what I want you to.
Try because I mean, it looks like if I took my head for the one on the.
You said, Dawn, that it's going diagonally, right? So if this were to continue in a diagonal path, if you were to continue on a diagonal path like constantly, around this, say if this was the Earth here, going around and around and around and around. Still, how do you get to this position?
Play it a little bit and pause it again quickly. I just want to see if it.
Well, I can play
that's going that direction. That's going that direction. Okay, so it pretty much matches up the directions of the moon. Oh no, does it? Does the ISS change its orbit? It looks like it does, but it can. I'd assume they had the ability to do so. It's got jets rigged all around the.
I mean, this
ISS
is how this is how I perceived it. I mean, the line of sight is very, very small, so nothing has changed. Hardly any, the size of the ISS, whether it be here near the Earth or far away, the two observers looking out at the ISS will see the same thing. For the Texas guy, the ISS is going this way around the Earth, whether it's diagonal.
Okay, I got the animation.
Yeah. So you just have to show, Dawn, if it's going diagonal, like you said, then how does it change and then go back this way straight? That's all. That's all we're asking for. And I just want to show.
It goes around 24 times. No, 16 times. Sorry.
Exactly.
In the 24 hours.
Okay.
Why you ignore the evidence?
So show me the path then. Where, on the 16th lap, where's the sharp turn to get it back on its side?
No, the direction of it changes, doesn't it, of every orbit, because the orbit's diagonal to the rotation.
Hold on one second, Dawn. Spurs, have you got Dawn's page up?
He's seen it before, but I wanted to show you, Nathan, and everyone.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, so explain now how it goes the other way then.
So it's diagonal enough for the angle to change every time it orbits. The direction to change, sorry.
You can let this play, we'll see how much, won't we? Hold on, let's just see, because we can see pretty much the angle. How much it changes.
It doesn't look like a huge angle, the diagonal, but it is enough.
I'm watching, we can see it. Hold on, where's it gone? Oh, it stopped.
It's a short video, it's only 22 seconds.
I mean, yeah.
I think that was explained yesterday.
I can see that there's an angular change, you're right, but I mean, it doesn't really account for what we've seen on the two different videos, if we assume that the two videos are genuine.
They're a month apart, so there's been 420 orbits between those two videos.
Okay, so stop it.
And they do correct the orbit a little bit. I provided the link in the side there, talking about when they do shift their orbits and so forth.
So that's what we're trying to say. So someone would have to show then the ISS, the moon's position, and where each person. So for me, anywhere you put this moon and the ISS, you're still going to get it going the correct way. It doesn't matter for me.
If those videos were the same night, I think you might have something, but they're not.
It doesn't. Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say.
So what I linked is the space station orbit tutorial, and it's produced by NASA and the program of the JCS, Earth Science and Remote Sensing Unit, and so on and so forth. And again, it explains these things and how they're correct. Because I mean, it does have boosters on the side of it, and a slight tap in one direction with a certain amount of force could change or would change the direction of the orbit, I'd easily imagine. There's nothing to prevent you from stopping, so, if was to kick you in space, you're going to keep going.
Yeah, but a link to that NASA site.
Can I just say while I'm on here, Nathan, if I'm
is that the one you were on?
or
Can you just pop a
frustrated in
link
my
in
voice,
for
I
Spurs,
don't mean any
Dawn,
offence.
just so he's got it as well, just so he's got a link to that
frustration.
site. That'd be brilliant.
Right, so I just want to show what I was discussing with Geo Strieber, and he suggested. I mean, obviously, everybody's confused. Everyone's giving different answers. Again, you've given a different answer here, Dawn. Geo, he took a computer.
No, that's the same answer everyone's got.
Well, he's turned the moon around.
What?
That's not that. Why would you turn the moon around like this?
He turned it so he can show you the position.
Yeah, but that's not what happened in reality.
Yeah, but they are off
that is
in
exactly
orientation,
what happened
though.
with reality, because you are seeing it from a different angle.
Exactly. They are off in orientation, Spurs, so if he's just matching up the orientation, that's fairly reasonable, but it wouldn't line up the orbits, but maybe it would bring it into line with the degree of change that Dawn's shown. I mean, have you checked that?
It all depends on what part of the world you're watching at.
Yeah, they're both in America. One is in Florida, one is in Texas.
Right.
Okay, so one recorded in 1 month the ISS going this way, and then a month later it turned back and went this way against the rotation.
I just sound super happy we're not on Isle of Man.
Yeah, and it turns out that when the Chinese were testing some anti-satellite technologies, the Russian outlet turns out
I'm
saying
sorry.
that
Hold on. Can you let that play? Can you let that?
NASA
I want to see
need
that.
to dodge.
Really sorry to interrupt you, my friend.
NASA decided not
Spurs,
to
can you let that
change its orbit.
play? Because he just lined up the moon and was about to play it at 2 times slow motion, and you stopped it playing.
No, I stopped it playing. What I think people, my point is what I'm trying to make here.
Spurs, no offence, right? I've heard your point, but Red has obviously gone to the effort of lining up the moon's orientation correctly, and then he plays it out with the 2 different transits. Can't we just see that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think he was. Okay, let's have a look.
That's the most critical bit. Here we go.
So why is he lining up, changing the moon?
Okay. Hey, Nathan, may I say something else before I go?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if Red actually does play this bit out and shows the 2 different transits comparably.
It's Geo, but I'll bring it back. So, like I say, he rotates the. Where was it from? About yeah.
Yeah, he's matched up the orientation to the moon, which is perfectly acceptable. That's what I would do.
So you mean he's pairing up the 2 moons together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, matching the orientation. I mean, he's doing this on the fly, obviously, when he's making the video, so it's going to take him a little bit of time. But can you just fast forward it to the bit where we actually see the transits?
I think he's going to play it now.
Oh, okay. So I'm just getting impatient, sorry.
Again?
Hello, Jeffrey. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Good to have you.
So he's just lining it up. Oh. I think because he doesn't play the slow. You hear that?
Nope.
We don't need to hear it. All I'm waiting for is to see the 2 different videos.
He's lining it up. Yeah.
It's taking forever.
So he's going to play it now.
This time in both cases, S is moving from right to left, which is exactly what we expect on the spherical Earth. So what you apparently didn't understand is that the field rotation of the footage has to be taken into account before you can actually make a statement about how the ISS should move through this picture. Okay, so just show that from bench position. Show Florida.
So did you see that? Did you see it?
I mean, I didn't see that. Can you wave your mouse in the direction that the first and second one travelled? Because I didn't see it. It's just too small.
Very slight. Let's see if he does it again.
Oh, seriously, you're not going to go back 20 minutes, are you?
No, I'm just seeing if because he does it a few times, but it's very quick, so you'd have to go to the actual video.
I mean, this is the critical bit where they, you know, how they compare when the moon's lined up. You'd think this would be the first thing that gets played, but there we go. All we're seeing is the moon being orientated over and over again.
It's very quick, yeah.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the second video.
I'm getting bored of this, I've got to be honest.
Me too.
Yep.
May I say something while they're trying to reset the video?
The critical bit is seeing the two compared when they're overlaid, and it's like, when are we going to get to that
forever to do it? But yeah, that's what he was doing basically. He was trying to get it.
Yeah, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, it seems like this is a waste of time. If he's not actually going to play the two transits so we can compare, we're getting nowhere.
Remember, there's 420.
He does actually play them though. But like I say, they're very quick.
Well, Nathan, I think I gotta go. Thank you for having me. Maybe next time I can join and show you some other pictures.
Definitely, I'd love to see your pictures.
They're not mine. He took them, but then you can judge for yourself. Thank you so much again, and have a good afternoon, guys.
How do I say your name? Is it Narco?
Miguel.
Just Miguel. Okay, Miguel. Good to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Miguel.
Thanks for coming.
Hopefully get to see some Mexican space pictures. That should be cool. Wow, that was a shame, that Geo video. I was hoping we'd see it really clearly laid out so we can compare with Dawn's, you know, angle that it changes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a better
like map that how the angle changes from that diagonal orbit over and over again, 16 times a day, 480 times between those two videos.
I've got to be honest, Spurs. My money is on them having this perfectly accounted for. I've got to be honest. So I'd be surprised if it didn't match up with what they say perfectly.
Homemade example of how that works?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like I say, we're just looking for an answer.
Okay, so in the room that I'm in my house right now, there are lights in the ceiling. There's a light in the ceiling to my right. If I look up at it and a moth were to fly from the right to the left, I would see it passing from the right to the left in front of the light. If I go on the other side of my room, so that I'm now looking 180 degrees differently at that same light in my ceiling, and I watch the same moth do the same thing it did, the moth will appear to go left to right because I'm 180 degrees differently oriented to the object that I'm looking at. The moth is still going in the same direction it was when I was seated here at my computer. So that is the explanation for why the ISS appears to be going in different directions over the face of the moon. What GeoStreamer
I got a problem for you, and that is that your room is actually flat and not a globe.
No. Not in any way.
That doesn't change the situation at all.
No, it does.
How does it change the situation? Explain to me how my room being flat and not a globe changes that problem.
It makes it worse, to be honest.
How does it make it worse? Explain the situation.
Well,
if you see the moon from one side on the so-called globe Earth, and you would see it from another side, you would see it over this curve. So you would see it from a completely different angle, not just...
Oh, and flat Earth makes the ISS problem much worse.
No. It is not. It's not real. So I'm just going with this theoretics that is all physically literal out there. But yeah, that's still based on your assumption that it is a globe. So,
but you claim CGI.
Your example is based on a setup that is basically emulating a flat Earth surface.
But his room is flat, though.
Not CGI. You can go and see it yourself.
But his room is flat, though. I mean, unless he's. I mean,
if my room had a curved floor, I would still travel from one side of that curved floor
So we are coming up on approximately half an hour left on this live stream. If you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, and a link in the info box once the video has rendered. If you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is approximately 30 minutes left on this live stream.
If you look at the moon from a certain angle on the so-called globe Earth, and you see, well, the surface that is well known facing you, and then from another point on the Earth, you would see the moon, the so-called physical round moon, from another angle, and you would not see the exact same face facing you in the exact same way. So that doesn't line up either, really.
Can you provide a real-world example of that?
Yeah, all observations ever made of the moon. All of them. They always face you. Exactly you. No matter where you stand on the Earth.
Sorry, Arwen. I've put a link into the Spurs chemo. The last, he puts it side by side, and you see the video. You see the ISS going different ways, and it's side to side. If you want to play that.
Yes, and those two images are not lined up the same way. That is the whole issue that we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just share my screen, because I'm not happy with how he's lined them up. Then, if that's the case, and let's have a look here. So we've got the November moon, Red's moon. So if we were to move this moon over to this side, because it's only like, this is like, you could say 9 o'clock. This is 8 o'clock. You move this over to this moon. Why has he put the red R? Why has he turned it that much? This is what I'm struggling to understand.
What do you mean turned it?
So this R, you would only need to put this over on top of this, and this wouldn't be moved that much. Why is this turned?
Gio's why is he gone over the top?
He's flipped.
Muddled in detail. He's muddled in details.
Well, what I'm showing you is that he's flipped.
Hold on, sorry, Spurs, I didn't hear that. Can you just repeat that, Dawn?
I said Gio is muddled in details. He doesn't need to do all that to explain it. Red's video shows two videos, 480 orbits between those two videos. The moon's oriented the same. The transit's different. Perfectly normal.
Yeah, so where's the path? Where's that path then?
What do you mean, where's the path?
How did it get from one side to the other?
Because of the diagonal orbit, 480 times round, the angle changes.
That's what I'm asking. At which point can you show that? When it
over
changed?
time, over the 480 orbits, as Earth rotates 30 times in a month. The ISS orbits 480 times.
Right.
The angle changes over that time.
So does it eventually go over the top then?
So the point is here is that Red's video is going with the moon. The moon is moving right, and the ISS is moving right. So this is what I'm struggling with. How can both objects in the sky be moving right, but this object that here is going the opposite way?
Because there's a month between them.
The orbit's different as well. The path of the orbit.
You're still missing the point. If it's going with the moon, then it's going against.
It's not going with the moon.
It's going in that direction.
Sometimes.
Now, in these two videos, both moons are moving to the right. Yes, you can see it going in that direction.
No, that's the camera chasing the.
No, this is a fixed camera. No, this is not chasing. This is a fixed camera. We have
Well, which one? On Red's one on his side.
Yeah, it's
that
fixed.
one.
It's
Yeah.
this here, yeah. So
yeah,
he's looking at that, and the moon. When you look at the moon through this, the moon will move this way of the camera, and this is my point for everybody in America. Everybody in America who points their camera at the moon, the moon will start to go this way towards the right.
No. Hold on, Spurs. Hold on. So what you're suggesting is that he's caught the moon's quoted orbit in that camera as the ISS transited. Well, no way. I mean, it's over in a fraction of a second.
Well, I don't know. That's what he's saying. He's saying that this is the moon. And yeah, he's saying that he caught the ISS going up this way. So it was coming up this way of the Earth, like down round the board. What they're saying, it's coming up. He's waiting for it to come up, and going past the moon straight up. And Dawn's saying that it would go up and around, swing around, and then turn back this way after some point.
That's what you say. You're saying it's got to turn. I'm saying no.
Well, if it's going straight up with the Earth, well, this is going against the Earth.
They're all on different orbits at different speeds. It's not going with the moon or the Earth.
But like I said, if you record the moon, there's never a time you can record the moon in America and the moon moves left. That can never happen for anybody in America. They can never record the moon and look at that moon and it moves to the left at any time of year.
Are you claiming Red's videos are CGI as well?
I'm not claiming any of that. I'm asking why. In Red's video, is the moon moving right and the ISS is moving right? Everybody in America who would record the ISS would go left and the moon would go right.
How do you know that the video that you're playing is not cropped and being panned?
What do you mean cropped and being panned? Because he said he went through his video. He didn't do anything to it. He said it was original. He hasn't. It's been untouched. You know, he banged on for for a long time that it's the most real video, nothing undoctored video out there. So everything you see in Red's video is everything as you would see in reality. That's my point.
Go back to where you were playing the two videos side by side. Okay.
But if we look at the moon here,
watch this. Can we just play it and watch it instead of skipping past it?
All right. Let me find the start of it.
Hey, True Seeker, how you doing?
Doing well. How about everyone?
Good. Thanks for being here.
Hi, I'd just like to welcome Glue Seeker. Welcome, Glue Seeker.
Okay, pay attention to where the ISS is passing over and in what pattern. Okay, so on the right-hand side of the video, the ISS moves from right to left and it goes over a large crater there. See, this is clearly zoomed in and panning.
This is zoomed in and panning, but the moon is still moving to the right. So hold on, stop.
You're zoomed in.
So hold on. Whoa. Let's get these things. Are you saying that the Texas moon, the moon will move to the left?
Moon's not moving at all. So he's got a close-up image of it, Spurs, and in order to make the ISS bigger in frame, he's zoomed in and is moving the frame. Presumably after the fact, that's him doing digital zoom on his computer. Then he's moving with the ISS to track the ISS.
Yeah. Okay.
But the moon's not moving. He's tracking the ISS, and it's over in seconds. So you're not going to see any of the moon's actual movement, if that's what you're saying. I think that's what you're saying. If I'm wrong, correct me.
Yeah, you won't. You won't see the moon moving. You only see one side of it.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that my point is that. I'm saying that the moon does move to the right. When you lock the camera onto the moon, it will move this way. Nobody in America will record a moon moving to the left.
Nobody's debating that with you.
Well, that's my point, yeah. I'm saying both moons, and you can see anyway, this is locked at this moment in the first shot. And he's not panning the camera in the first shot, I think. Yeah, it's perfectly still. And if you look closely, you can see the moon is moving to the right.
Did you introduce Truth Seeker yet?
Yeah.
So yeah, in the zoom, he's panning, but in both beginnings, they are locked.
Can you introduce Truth Seeker, Lottie, please?
Sorry, what's the problem? What's the problem here?
The next
Just
thing
need
you'll
to
notice
introduce Truth Seeker.
when you watch these
Oh no, Glue Seeker's already been introduced.
Oh,
good.
Come on, let's not derail because we need to get this addressed. So my argument is that the both moons, if you were in Florida and you drove to Texas, you would see the same thing. You're talking about crossing the road. I would like to ask, where is that road? Where in the room are you talking about? Where's that divide? We're on this side and then on this side. We still should see the same moon, which we do. A month later, we do see the same moon, but it's just moved a little touch. Little bit. That's the only difference that we'll see. You guys are saying, well, it's a month. Well, yeah. And that's how much change there is within a month. Not very much, but there's a little bit of change. So anything that's going past the moon should be going in the same direction. That's my point.
No. It's on a diagonal orbit. It's totally separate to the moon's
Well,
orbit.
This is diagonal to you, yes?
No, the orbit of the ISS is diagonal.
Yeah, is this a diagonal
compared
path
to the rotation of Earth?
Dawn, is this a diagonal path?
Slightly, yeah.
Slightly diagonal, yes? Okay, so show us how it would go this way around the moon, because it's going around the Earth in the same fashion. And then are you saying it went over the North Pole, down to the South Pole, and then back around, turned around, and then went back up this way?
Yeah, that was my question. That was exactly what I wanted to know. So are you saying in its travels, as it's obviously at an angle, eventually it goes over the North Pole and then continues round? That's as I understood it to necessitate that orbit to go in the direction that I see it. Even
it doesn't go over the North Pole or the South Pole, that's for sure.
Okay.
So how do you explain it then? Explain it to us. How did it go?
Because it's a diagonal to the rotation of Earth, which means when you look at it, there's many different directions.
Sure, but what we're saying, and that's what I'm kind of asking, is if that continues, eventually it will go over the North Pole in order to continue going round and round and round at that angle, unless it actually changes direction, and it doesn't. So does it go over the North Pole? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either.
No, I know it does not go over the North or the South Pole. Absolutely, without a doubt.
So then we've got a bit of a problem. I see what you mean,
Spurs. That's why the
Spurs.
video say not, because unless you can show it going over the North and South Pole, that's what Dawn is basically saying, that it would have to go over the North and South Pole. So we have something even more interesting. We're going to see footage of the North and the transit over through the South.
Why do you need the North Pole thing?
Well, because that's what
you said it would have to go over the North Pole for it to turn back.
No,
we'll be clear. We'll be clear, Dawn. Then what are you saying?
I said
you're talking about the many times that it spins
are totally possible because the orbit's diagonal compared to the rotation of Earth.
We're not interested in the direction.
Nothing about the North Pole.
Yeah, but you keep saying it does 1,000 revolutions. That's we want to know on the 1,000th revolution, which point did it turn, and what is the
408 orbits?
Sure, maybe I can have a try, Spurs. So I don't know if you can bring up your depiction that I said, oh, it's ended. Well, what you showed in that depiction as it transited, as it went round, was that it was getting higher and higher and higher and higher, but then the animation stops. And what I'm saying is, if you continue that animation, obviously I can only extrapolate from what I've seen, it would suggest that it eventually goes over the North Pole, or if it doesn't go over the North Pole, it has to change direction. Here we go. Brilliant. So at the moment, we've got it.
So yeah, it's only 22 seconds.
Why 22 seconds? Show us.
I don't know if is that a full Earth rotation. Let me look.
Yeah, but don't you understand, Dawn? That's the point. We're saying
it does show
eventually
North America, though, which is the two videos you're looking at.
Yeah, but eventually this path would take it so it goes over the North Pole. Eventually this line, will go over here as it continues to go round, but it just stops, so we don't get to see that bit. So any second now, instead of this line continuing, getting closer and closer to the North Pole, it stops. Why?
So let's say it does go over the North Pole, just hypothetically.
From that video,
then that was a reasonable explanation. If it does go over the North Pole, then eventually, yes, it will come round and it will change its direction.
No.
But it doesn't change direction. And if it changed direction, it would go against the Earth's rotation. So again, how can you have... It doesn't go against the Earth's rotation. Red's video is going against. The other one is going with. Which is the correct one? That's what we're asking.
Good question.
Could somebody play that animation again that shows the path of the ISS? Because I don't think the claim that the ISS will eventually go over the North Pole from that video.
No, I don't think it does. Hang on, I'll link it in the thing.
Well, let's see. I want to see if it goes over the North Pole because I've researched and I don't find any information to suggest that it goes over the North and over the South.
It doesn't matter whether it does or not.
It's critical. It's absolutely critical, Dawn. That's why I asked earlier while you were in mid-flow. That's critical. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Did you not understand the explanation we just gave you? Seriously?
I don't think it's critical.
It is critical. If you don't understand that, I'll explain it to you again. If you don't understand that it's critical, I can explain it to you.
Okay.
Right, so in the path that you showed, that necessitates, if it's going in a continuous direction at an angle, that eventually it traverses the North Pole. Hold on, Joe Kovacs, how you doing?
Not necessarily.
Hello.
How you doing, Joe? What can we do for you?
I do not think that is correct.
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. How are you? What can we do for you?
I had a picture that might explain some of the ISS.
Can you just link? Can you just link it in the chat, Nathan? Because some people want to see it. It looks like my video.
Has anyone
Hold on. That guest didn't get to finish their sentence. Joe had one little adjective and he had a whole sentence there. The ISS what? Come on, Joe. You were nearly there with a full sentence.
I had a picture. I found that you might explain some of the ISS orbit.
Cool. Got it up now. Talk us through it.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, cool. Talk us through it.
Okay.
Do you see it?
I got something after he's said that.
Yep, we see it. If you want to tell us what we're looking at, that'd be brilliant.
So that's the ISS orbit. It's several of them. So the orbits, if they're plotted, they show.
Looks like it doesn't want to go over the North Pole on that image.
Right.
And every single one of these are west to east. Don't be confused by back and, they're all going west to east. Just to clear that up.
Right here.
Yeah, I had that on my on the video somewhere.
Okay, so everywhere between 51.6 degrees north and 51.6 degrees south. So it never passes directly over the North Pole or the South Pole.
Whoever just said that, you're so quiet, it's hard to make out what you're saying. I've got you at full volume, if it is who I think it is.
Sorry about that. Let me try to up my mic.
Is it Jeffrey?
Yes, hang on. How about now? Is that better?
Miles better, yes.
Okay. So what I was just reading that one sentence under the image there that says that the ISS would not pass over the North or the South Pole based on the orbit that it has.
Cool. That clears that up.
Okay, so
has anybody self-verified that it's actually a floating space station up there?
Whatever it is, it's visible on a regular scheduled basis.
So how do you suggest it turned around then?
It didn't turn around. Can somebody please go back to showing the two videos?
So, yes, but you're kind of repeating yourself now.
I've got to admit, even looking at this, what I can see is pretty much what's been shown. Yeah, but again, that doesn't get it travelling in the other direction. I've got to agree with Spurs. So what I can see and what I'm highlighting for the audience
are these guys saying that it's not? This is what I'm trying to find. Are they say, Dawn, are you saying it's not going in a different direction? Well, he's saying it is because Dawn thought it can go to the North Pole, and now this guy's saying it's not. This is the problem.
It's
that I'm
51
Just
degrees.
show the videos again.
This is what I'm having. I'm getting so many conflating
90
arguments.
degrees would be full north to south orbit, but it's at 51 degrees.
So I'm playing the videos. Yeah. I paused it. I mean,
okay, so mark on the moon where the ISS appears, where it first appears in both of those videos.
Okay. So we've got one there.
Okay. Remember that location.
So that's about here. Roughly. No,
it's just below where your mouse was.
What's that line? Is it? But I'm talking about. We could line it up with this moon here.
Yes. So go back to where you
there. No.
Go back to where you pointed where it was, because it's a little to the south, a little below where you thought it was.
Because there's that dot, and there's another
dot there, and it's under the one beneath it.
There's that white line. There's that dot. There's that white line.
It's underneath the thing that sticks out a little bit. You got the big bloody crater, and then you got this little thing sticking out the middle of it, right? Pointing towards the right side, pointing out towards the right, just below that, just a little bit.
Okay, and note where it exits the moon.
Hold on, we'll let it play again because pair them up exactly at the same time. To sync them, I should say. Okay, so we go again. This is the zoom in one now. This should be a bit better. So like this is the entry point. The best, both zoomed in together. Look, you see?
Yeah. Just above the white end of the upside down R, actually.
So they're not opposite directions. It's about 90 degrees, wouldn't you say? It's about 90 degrees to each other. Sniper on deck's joined and is going to wipe out the whole call, it looks.
Approximately 90 degrees to each other. You just said that, correct?
You may not get your endings if Sniper's going to remove you all.
Go on, welcome Sniper on deck to the show. Welcome Sniper on deck.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, go on then. So, Nathan was saying something about 90 degrees there.
Yes.
So look, can we see
Nathan
this?
said that the entry points on these two moons are within about 90 degrees of each other, correct?
Yeah, I think that was Nathan who said that. No?
Yeah, I said it was about 90 degrees. I just roughly made out on your left-hand image exactly what it was doing and then calculated it based on the left-hand moon, and it looked like it was going at about 90 degrees.
Okay.
That is going that way. This is going that way, but when you slightly orientate it, I'd reckon they're about 90 degree orientation to each other. I don't know if one of you can bring up that path, the diagram with the overlay that shows its paths, and see if one of them is 90 degrees to the other. If there is one path that's 90 degrees to the other, then there's your problem solved. Has anybody got that image? Can we see that? Maybe not.
Dorney's gone. Oh, he's still there, yeah.
Could you bring that
I think it's the International TIE Fighter.
Could you bring that back up, Dawn? The image of the globe with the overlay of the direction of travel of the ISS. Have you got that? I think we might have an answer here. If there's a 90 degree transit, then we can see that it can do that.
What do you mean 90 degree transit?
Well, according to these two pieces of footage, from my very rough eyeballing of it, doing what I've forgotten his name already. I'm really sorry. Jeffrey suggested to do. So take the direction on the left moon and then take the direction on the right moon. Well, they're about 90 degrees to each other. Those two different travelling paths. Well, if you've here we go. So if you're on not this one, if you've got the wireframe that shows the all of the different paths at once, I don't know who brought that up.
It's not me.
All of the different paths.
So if you can bring that up, that would be really handy. You know what I mean? The wireframe.
Yeah, I just want to introduce Sean G. What's going out to my family? I'm Sean G. What's up, homie?
No one got it? This wireframe? Jeffrey, have you got it? Nobody seems to have it now. Now we need to check and cross-reference the 90 degree angle. How you doing, Rune Thornton? Can you hear us?
Rooney baby, welcome. Welcome to the Flat Earth debate.
I need to mute. Sorry. I'm muting.
The debate's over.
Yeah, I have it.
No, we can hear you, Rune. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for somebody to bring up this wireframe so we can see if there's a 90 degree angle to any of the two transits.
I have it on my screen.
Ah, perfect. Here we go. Joe. Perfect. Oh, it's gone. It's gone already.
I have it on my screen.
Got a sniper again Somebody's just joined just to kick the show. We've only got a couple of minutes left anyway. But
Nathan, let me shout out.
I'm doing the same as you, and I can't see any of these being 90 degrees to each other. Can you? 45 degrees, maybe. I think you've still got a problem on your hands, Spurs. I think you've still got a good problem.
Of course, Spurs is the
ISS problem is there on my channel. If you'd like to take a look and provide a...
No, Spurs. You're the problem, not the ISS.
If there's 90 degrees or less of
shout out Ron Burgundy.
Sorry, we can't hear Joe. Don't shout anybody. We want to hear Joe.
God's
sake, Lottie.
All we want
Joe's got something to say.
Video
Miles ruining these idiots.
The different
Shout out
directions.
Gem Panda, Big and Flat.
Sorry, Joe. Do you want to go again? Lottie just can't seem to shut his mouth.
Right here. Can you see it?
I've got it up, yeah, but I can't see anything that's got a 90-degree angle, which is what has been demonstrated in the two different evidences. We've got about maybe a 45-degree angle.
If it's less than 90 degrees, that's satisfactory. I have a very rough drawing. If you just share my screen for a minute, I just made it in Paint right now. I'm not using the actual video because I don't have the access to the video. But if you just look at my screen for a second, I will show you that if there's less than a 90-degree difference between the two trajectories, then they are not traveling opposite one another.
Okay.
Am I shared?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have, this represents the moon. And this roughly...
He's actually not. Oakley is still shared.
Try again,
the red
Joe.
line that I'm drawing roughly represents the path of the ISS on that right-hand video. Okay, it goes roughly in that direction. The path of the second ISS traversal was something like this. Okay. This is a crude representation. I don't have the actual videos in front of me. If I had them, I would take stills, I would take snapshots, and I would get the lines exactly correct. But my point here is that if these two lines have 90 degrees or less difference between them, can I rotate this freely? Probably not. But if you could imagine this rotating, these two lines are not going against one another. They are going in the same direction. They're going the same right to left direction, or again, I wish I could rotate this. Actually, let me rotate it. Okay, so you can see here that the two transits of the ISS are going from the same hemisphere of the moon to the opposite hemisphere of the moon. They're not traveling against one another. And if the ISS has this sinusoidal kind of orbit in our sky as far as we observe it, then it's perfectly consistent for it sometimes to be traveling from, in my depiction here, the upper right to the lower left, and sometimes from the bottom right to the upper left. But it will never traverse against itself.
But it doesn't seem to be that way on... I mean, I'm just looking at it, and it doesn't... You know, I can't see that in this depiction in terms of its orbits. It never looks like you've got a 90-degree change to me. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but it just certainly doesn't seem that way. You know, I don't think you've solved the problem with your explanation at all. But there we go. That's just my opinion. And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and sharing this debate. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.